Israel and Hezbollah have had a snake-like relationship for nearly half a century. From 1982 to 2024, the two sides clashed for 7 days, sometimes months. Sometimes there was a war. Civil wars, attacks and explosions did not shed blood less. An Al Jazeera report highlights the tense relationship between the two sides at various times for 42 years. Tensions between Lebanese armed groups Hezbollah and Hamas have been simmering since the start of the Israeli offensive in the Gaza Strip in October last year. Both sides continued cross-border attacks. Recently, the tension has become extreme. Israel launched a ground operation in Lebanon on Tuesday. The conflict between Hezbollah and Israel is nothing new. This hostility is almost half a century old. The two sides have fought several times during this period. Lebanon's 1982 invasion. Israel invaded Lebanon in 1982. The operation was launched in response to attacks by the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, on Israel from southern Lebanon. Since then, the civil war has been going on in Lebanon for 7 years. The 1983 attacks. From 1982 to 1986, there were several attacks by foreign troops in Lebanon. Several groups have claimed responsibility for the attacks. Hezbollah has been blamed for many attacks. On 23 October 1983, several barracks buildings in Beirut were bombed. More than 300 French and American peacekeepers were killed. Rise of Hezbollah in 1985. In 1985, Hezbollah's fighting ability increased to such an extent that it joined forces with allied groups to force the Israeli army to withdraw from Lebanon's Litani River area. Politics of 1992. After the end of the Lebanese Civil War, 1975 to 1992, in 1992, Hezbollah entered parliamentary politics. They won 8 seats in the 128-seat parliament. Since then, Hezbollah's tally has been growing. Hezbollah and its allies currently hold 62 seats in parliament. The 7-Day War in 1993. Israel invaded Lebanon in July 1993. They call it Operation Accountability. The operation began after Hezbollah launched a counteroffensive in northern Israel in response to Israeli attacks on a refugee camp and village in Lebanon. The confrontation lasted 7 days. Invasion in April 1996. 3 years later, on 11 April 1996, Israel again invaded Lebanon. The operation lasted 17 days. The purpose of the operation was to push Hezbollah across the Litani River. Israel wanted to remove Hezbollah and move it to a remote location so that Hezbollah could no longer hit Israeli targets. The July 2006 war. In 2006, 3 Israeli soldiers were killed in a Hezbollah operation on Israeli territory. Hezbollah detained 2 other Israeli soldiers. Hezbollah demanded the release of Lebanese citizens imprisoned in the country in exchange for the release of Israeli soldiers. 2009 Manifesto Update. Hezbollah continues on this policy of opposition to Israel and support Iran. In 2009, Hezbollah updated its manifesto. They promised to consolidate themselves in the process of forming a democratic government that reflected national unity and not communal interests. It was Hezbollah's second declaration after the 1985 Open Letter. In the 1985 Open Letter, they directly opposed the country's goals. Syrian civil war in 2012. Hezbollah supported the Syrian government in the country's civil war in 2012. They got involved in the civil war. Their move was not well received by many Arab supporters. Even Suvi al-Tufail, one of the group's founders, condemned the move. 2023 to 2024 Gaza. Hamas attacked Israel on 7 October last year. About 1,139 people were killed. About 250 people were taken prisoner and taken to Gaza. Immediately after this incident, Israel launched an all-out attack on Gaza. In response, Israel launched an attack on the Gaza Strip.